Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us here on Times Now. This is the newspaper show and I'm Hina Gambhir. Let's get started and tell you what's making headlines as far as the Times of India this morning is concerned. So this Friday morning, a lot of interesting stories we have for you on the front page. Let's begin with India's COVID count, which is the key highlight today in Times of India. India tops 12 lakh cases in August. That is the highest in the world. India has recorded more than 12 lakh fresh COVID cases just in the month of August, which is higher than in any previous month and the highest count by any country during this month as well. Now, this milestone came on a day when country reported more than 69,000 fresh infections, the second highest single day tally so far, and 986 deaths. And this is very, very crucial. First 50 lakh shots will be for army and frontline workers. Now, on one hand, of course, the race to get the vaccine is also underway. The center is now considering initially procuring around 50 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccine for frontline workers, army personnel and others. Apart from this, as far as the national capital is concerned, city's population with COVID antibodies has risen to 29%, and this is the second Sero survey that was conducted across Delhi, and that has revealed the prevalence of COVID-19 antibodies has gone up to 29.1% of the population, which is slightly higher, was earlier 23.5% in the first survey. So from first survey, it has gone up slightly. So that's about the national capital. Don't seek mercy, will accept any penalty. This is what defined Prashant Bhushan has said. Another big headline on the front page. Don't punish him, says AG. Armed with the support of retired judges and buoyed by Attorney General K.K. Venugopal's don't punish him plea, activist advocate Prashant Bhushan has refused to apologize to avert punishment for his conviction for contempt and defiantly has told the Supreme Court that he would cheerfully accept penalty without seeking the court's mercy or magnanimity. So that's another big story. As far as the Facebook row is concerned, Parliamentary panel on IT is going to have a meeting on 2nd of September. This panel is headed by Shashi Tharoor, and they have also summoned Facebook. And apart from that, the representatives of Ministry of Electronics and IT will also be deposing before this committee after Facebook officials depose before this particular panel on 2nd of September. Then Prime Minister Modi wrote to Mahendra Singh Dhoni yesterday. He said that your spirit of new India. This is what Prime Minister Modi told Dhoni. Prime Minister Modi described MS Dhoni as a phenomena and an important illustration of the spirit of new India, where family name does not make young people destiny. In a two-page letter to the cricket icon on Wednesday, he said, your rise and conduct gives strength and inspiration to crores of youngsters who, like you, haven't been to cushy schools or colleges. So this is what Prime Minister Modi wrote, and later Mahendra Singh Dhoni thanked him as well on social media. Doctor from Delhi has been killed by a senior in Muradabad. India-China to sincerely try for disengagement. Yesterday was another crucial meeting. Of course, nothing conclusive came out, but both these sides are sincerely trying for disengagement. That's what the Times of India has reported. Because of heavy rain in Gurugram, a wall collapsed and one person lost his life on Thursday. Gargled water can be tested. Well, this is an interesting update from ICMR. Gargled water samples may be viable alternative to swabs to test for COVID-19, enabling easy self-collection, according to a study in ICMR's Indian Journal for Medical Research. And unemployment allowance, 50% of pay for 3 months. Now, the centre yesterday has eased norms to offer 50% of salary for 3 months as unemployment allowance to lakhs of workers who are members of the Employees State Insurance Corporation and who have lost their jobs due to the coronavirus pandemic. So that's another very, very important story that's there on the front page. Apart from this, a couple of more stories that we want to highlight for you this morning from the Times of India. Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi Chief Minister, has said that the Aam Aadmi Party will be contesting all seats in 2022 Uttarakhand Assembly elections. So from Delhi, plans are already being made for Uttarakhand as well. And ahead of Bihar elections, RJD faces a double whammy. Manji rocks Grand Alliance vote, and Lalu Samdi, in fact, has joined the JDU in a setback for the RJD-led Mahagathbandhan Gadbandhan in Bihar. Former Chief Minister Jitan Ram Manjhi has announced that his Hindustani Awam Morcha Secular will break away from the opposition alliance and look for an alternative ahead of the assembly polls. Party sources, however, denied his merger with the JDU. So that's another developing story from Bihar ahead of the elections. Kerala parties have united to fight the issue of airport lease. There is a lot that's happening over Trivandrum Airport after it was given to Adani Enterprises. Now, setting aside political differences, members of ruling LDF and opposition UDF camps have resolved to put up a united fight against the centre's decision to lease out Trivandrum International Airport to Adani Enterprises. An all-party meeting was convened by Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan on Thursday, which demanded that the decision should be repealed. Meanwhile, Union Aviation Minister Hardeep Puri responded as well to this, saying that the state government's bid did not qualify. So we'll see what happens in this one today. Then barred on 15th of August, a Dalit gets to hoist flag, says that is the real Independence Day. This has happened in Tamil Nadu. 6.5 lakh net new enrollments were seen in EPFO this June. Net new enrollments with retirement fund body EPFO rose to 6.5 lakh in June from 1.7 lakh during May, according to the latest payroll data, providing a perspective on employment in the formal sector amidst coronavirus pandemic that we are into. There is an update about former President Pranab Mukherjee's health condition as well. It's slightly better. This is what the hospital statement has said. Then there is a tectonic shift that's happening in the education system as well in the country. We have learned that private schools are not functioning and hence kids have started turning to the government ones. And this is a picture that you have from Karnataka, where a learning program has been launched whereby classes are being held for small groups in fields, temples, community halls and playgrounds. And there you can see how every child is wearing a mask and there is enough social distancing as well. Prime Minister Modi is eyeing Alang as hub to scrap old vehicles. Remember, the auto sector has been demanding a scrappage policy for vehicles, and already Alang in Gujarat is a facility where ship breaking usually takes place. And will that be used for vehicle scrapping or not? I mean, that's what this news report is indicating. Perhaps that's something Prime Minister Modi is considering. Then BJP MP has said that Tharoor should be removed as the chief of House IT panel. That's another important story after the Facebook content row is going on. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla on Thursday has suggested that there is a need to involve public in parliamentary process. As far as Rajasthan is concerned, the update is that even though the central leadership of Congress had brokered a deal with his former deputy Sachin Pilot, who raised a banner of revolt against Rajasthan CM, it seems that the latter has not been able to get over the bad blood created during the month-long acrimony. Gehlot on Thursday skipped a function at the Pradesh Congress Committee office, which was attended by Sachin Pilot. A very interesting story. Perhaps all is still not well between Pilot and Gehlot in Rajasthan. Then NC meet tests if netas are free or not. Former JNK Chief Minister and National Conference President Farooq Abdullah has claimed that Thursday's meeting with senior party colleagues at his residence was to see actually whether his party leaders are free to move out of their homes or not. Then Congress, RJD and MIM have cited COVID and have urged EC to use paper ballots for the upcoming elections, the Bihar elections. And lastly, Congress has told EC that the EC should bar outsiders who gave communal speeches. So that's about a couple of other very important and interesting stories from around the country reported on the this paper Times of India. Moving on now, as far as the Navbharat Times is concerned, यहाँ पर भी बहुत सारी खबरें हैं, लेकिन जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट खबर है फ्रंट पेज पे टॉप पे है वो प्रशांत भूषण से जुड़ी हुई है। इसमें लिखा है कि बयान के लिए माफी मांगे, ऐसा कोर्ट ने कहा है। समय दिया गया है अपने पिटीशन पर विचार करने का। वहीं प्रशांत भूषण ने कहा है कि मैं दया नहीं सजा के लिए तैयार हूं। तो अब देखेंगे कि किस तरह से प्रशांत भूषण कोर्ट में इस बात का अब जवाब देंगे। इसके अलावा अवमानना के मामले में सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने दिए हैं 2 दिन। जब वकील प्रशांत भूषण के पक्ष में आए केंद्र सरकार के वकील, तो उन्हें भी थोड़ा सा कॉन्फिडेंस आया और वो कह रहे हैं कि मैं दया नहीं सजा के लिए तैयार हूं। और इसके अलावा दिल्ली के होटल्स और रेस्टोरेंट में परोसी जा सकती है शराब। इस पर और भी खबर आपको जानकारी देंगे अभी कुछ ही देर में, किस वजह से ये डिसीजन लिया है दिल्ली सरकार ने। साथ ही उत्तराखंड विधानसभा की सभी 70 सीटों पर चुनाव लड़ेगी आम आदमी पार्टी, ऐसा ऐलान कर दिया गया है आम आदमी पार्टी के द्वारा। सबसे साफ राजधानी वाले शहरों की कैटेगरी में एनडीएमसी जो है वो पहले नंबर पर आया है। इसके अलावा धोनी को प्रधानमंत्री की चिट्ठी, संन्यास से लोग निराश पर आपके शुक्रगुजार भी हैं। और यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं ये दिल्ली एनसीआर की तस्वीरें हैं, जहाँ पर कल भी कई जगह पर वाटर लॉगिंग हुई थी। और ये पुल प्रहलादपुर अंडरपास है जिसकी तस्वीर है, जिसमें एक बस डूब गई है। तो ये मिंटो ब्रिज नहीं है जहां पर इस तरह का नजारा हर मॉनसून सीजन में मिलता है, ये प्रहलादपुर अंडरपास है। बारिश के चलते अगले 2 दिन मौसम में ठंडक बने रहने का अनुमान है। अधिकतम तापमान भी 30 डिग्री से कम रिकॉर्ड किया गया। तो अब आने वाले 2 दिनों में शायद बारिश थोड़ी कम होगी, ऐसा आईएमडी का कहना है। इसके अलावा अयोध्या के राम मंदिर पर भूकंप और तूफान का नहीं होगा असर। अयोध्या में 5 अगस्त को भूमि पूजन के बाद राम मंदिर का निर्माण शुरू हो चुका है। मंदिर निर्माण में लोहे या सरिये का इस्तेमाल नहीं किया जाएगा। ऐसा बताया जा रहा है कि स्टैच्यू ऑफ लिबर्टी की तर्ज पर तांबे की परत बनाकर मंदिर का निर्माण होगा। मंदिर लंबे समय तक ऐसे ही रहे, इस पर भूकंप आदि का असर ना हो, इसके लिए खास तरह के निर्माण किए जा रहे हैं। और श्री राम जन्मभूमि तीर्थ क्षेत्र ट्रस्ट ने कहा है कि मंदिर निर्माण के काम में लगभग 36 से 40 महीने का जो है समय लग सकता है। और इसके अलावा यूएस में कमला हैरिस बोली, नक्सलवाद का कोई टीका नहीं है। सो दैट्स अबाउट द लेटेस्ट एज पर एज द नवभारत टाइम्स दिस मॉर्निंग इज कंसर्न। लेट्स शिफ्ट फोकस एंड टेल यू व्हाट्स मेकिंग हेडलाइंस एज पर एज द पिंक पेपर टुडे इज कंसर्न, द इकोनॉमिक टाइम्स। एंड हियर द big story that the Economic Times is leading with is about Saudi Arabia's PIF that's looking to invest up to $1 billion in Jio's fiber assets. Talks have already started after ADIA re-engaged with Reliance Industries on a similar kind of a deal. So that's the big story here. Indian diamond companies cut imports to keep prices stable because demand has been coming down. And in a move akin to De Beers in 1940s, industry has stopped the supply to reduce inventories and bring down debt as well. Then eye on inflation, RBI may halt rate cuts, inflation surprises undermining monetary actions. MPC members had voted unanimously in favor of a pause till picture becomes clearer. Yesterday the RBI had released the minutes of the last Monetary Policy Committee meeting, wherein the RBI decided to keep the repo rate unchanged. Then wage bill up only 2.9% in June quarter. This is the lowest growth in 18 years. The wage bill of 1,560 listed companies rose to 2.9% in April-June quarter, and that's the lowest growth in past 18 years, with most labor-intensive sectors such as textiles recording a steep fall. This is what CMIE said yesterday. Manufacturing firms, in fact, have seen a 7% drop in the wage bill. Then Kamala Harris, who has scripted history in US politics as the first Indian American and black woman to get a major party's vice presidential nomination, assailed President Donald Trump's failure of leadership and has urged voters to elect a president who will bring the country together. Having positioned herself as a champion of the American tech industry since 2010, Harris seems to enjoy the backing of Silicon Valley as well, and she's been making headlines for her statements over the last couple of days. Then NCLT to appoint RP for Anil Ambani assets on SBI plea. The bankruptcy court has decided to appoint interim resolution professional to examine State Bank of India's petition seeking to recover more than 1,200 crore from Anil Ambani and assess the industrialist assets as well as liabilities. And lastly, before we move on, in an interesting update here also, Prime Minister, French Defense Minister likely at Rafale ceremony. The formal ceremony to welcome Rafale fighter jets into service is likely to be presided over by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, with French Defense Minister as a special guest at the Air Force Station in Ambala, where the first 5 aircraft have been stationed. This is what Manu Babi has reported as far as the Times of India this morning is concerned. Let's now move on and be more city specific and talk about what's making headlines in the national capital. Sharon, my colleague, is joining us this morning. Sharon, good morning. The sun is out today. Thankfully, it's not raining. But the Times of India Delhi edition has reported that eateries, hotels may serve liquor soon. Manish Sisodia has directed Excise Department to give permission. What has really led to this kind of a decision suddenly?
Good morning, Hina. Yes, this decision has been made by the Delhi government after a lot of restaurants and also the NRI, which is the head of the restaurants in the national capital, approached the Delhi government because they have been saying that most of the profit that they make or the most of the expense that they cover is because of the liquor sale that happens in their restaurant. And since the lockdown, the liquor sale has been banned in these restaurants. Now, yesterday we know that the DDMA had given the approval for the hotels to open. Restaurants have already been opened during this unlock, the unlock that has been announced by the union government. Now that both the restaurants and hotels are open, the owners and the associations of restaurants have met the Delhi government. They have been urging them to give them approval for the sale of liquor in their restaurants. So this is why the Delhi government has also sent a note. Now we know that Manish Sisodia has in fact also sent a note to the excise department asking that an approval should be in fact given for the restaurants and hotels to sell liquor. But as of now, the bar still continues to be exempt from this rule. They will continue not to sell liquor during this period. But this comes as a big relief for the restaurants and hotel owners and association, Hina.
All right. Thank you very much, Sharon, for the moment, for joining us with all of those details. In fact, the Delhi edition is also reporting that BJP has told the LG that issue guidelines for the wedding season as well. The festival season, wedding season is also coming. Community centers back in business. Banquet halls are still waiting. Doubling rate at 101 days against Indian average of 29. So Delhi has done really well as far as its fight against COVID-19 is concerned. In fact, positivity rate has also dipped to 7%, and that is reassuring. This is what Satyendra Jain has mentioned about the national capital. Close to herd immunity? Well, there is no consensus yet as far as the issue of herd immunity is concerned. Let's now move on and see what's making headlines as far as the Mumbai edition of the Times of India this morning is concerned. The big story is that COVID patients aged 50 plus can't home isolate. This is what BMC has said. My colleague Arunil joining us on the broadcast this morning. Arunil, good morning. 600 absconding doctors put on notice, may lose license. What is the story?
Well, this is extremely serious, and basically the Maharashtra Health Minister Rajesh Tope has initiated this via the Maharashtra Medical Council. So those around 600 medical practitioners, the doctors who were not present during the COVID duty, the state is initiating an action against them. At present, notice has been sent to them, and in 15 days they have been asked to report to work. If they fail to do that, then action will be initiated against the Epidemics Act and the Disaster Management Act. What the government is saying is like right now also we are facing an acute shortage of medical staff, and despite that the doctors were not present. Now how this will be responded to by the doctors associations that are there in the state of Maharashtra, that remains to be seen. Also, the other development that you pointed out, like every patient above the age of 50 or any patient having any comorbidities, they will have to strictly undergo a COVID test, and basically if they have symptoms, and they'll have to be hospitalized. That has been opposed to a certain extent by the hospital association.
All right. Thank you very much, Arunil, for the moment, for joining us with all of those details. Couple of more interesting stories reported in the Mumbai edition this morning. Day after 24-hour high of 13,000 cases. In fact, Maharashtra has now crossed the 14,000 mark as well as far as the new cases are concerned. Meanwhile, the doubling rate over 100 days in 9 city wards. So there are pockets which are looking, good as well at this point in time within Maharashtra. It's not that the entire state is seeing a major COVID crisis right now. There are a few pockets, at least 9 city wards, where the doubling rate is over 100 days, which is slightly positive. But a major concern is that police force specifically, as 2 more cops have succumbed to COVID infection. City toll has touched 62 in the state. 132 deaths have been reported. So that's another cause of concern as far as the COVID-related deaths in police force in Mumbai are concerned. Let's now move on and talk about the Bengaluru edition of the Times of India this morning. My colleague Deepak Bopanna joining us on the broadcast. Deepak, good morning. Government hospitals grappling with short supply of remdesivir.
Yes, Hina, good morning. Remdesivir, of course, has been a cause of concern in Bengaluru for quite some time. And now the government hospitals of late have been, of course, reporting an acute shortage. They're also saying a large number of patients who are very ill and who need intensive treatment, including ventilators, also depend on remdesivir for help. But it's in very short supply. Sometimes off the record, some of the government doctors saying that they also depend on the patients' families to actually go ahead and privately procure this, because they're having to choose between the patients that they have to administer it to. Even in the private hospitals, where 50% of the beds have been allocated to the government to provide for patients, there too there have been reports of the private hospitals differentiating between the people who come from the government and who come privately, and be just administrating the drug to the people who come privately. So right now, the government, of course, before the vaccine comes into the picture, these are the drugs that are helping the patients, cope up with the problem. So the government should ensure that they're in good supply to all the government hospitals and the private hospitals combined.
All right. Thank you very much, Deepak, for the moment for joining us with all of those details. Moving on, there are more stories that we have here as far as the Bengaluru edition of the Times of India is concerned. As fatalities are rising in Bengaluru, bodies have started piling up at crematoria as well. Plasma therapy grinds to a halt in Mysuru. A woman... in fact, police sub-inspector helped a family in distress, and this family was from Uttar Pradesh, and she has been winning a lot of praise for her work. In fact, ASHA workers who've been visiting homes to check for people suffering from COVID-19 symptoms on Wednesday came across a pan seller from Uttar Pradesh who worked in the city and stayed in, very close to this police station where this sub-inspector was stationed, and they found that his son, who is a class 2nd student, was a COVID positive. Now, they wanted him to be admitted to a hospital, but of course, they didn't want to send him alone, and the workers were quite worried, and then they approached the sub-inspector Shobha to this police station, and she realized the kind of communication problem that was being faced between the family and the team which had come to assess and look at people there. The pan seller had no business since the lockdown kicked in, and the family couldn't return to UP because they didn't have the money. The couple and their sons, in fact, were studying in the rented house, and she saw and she helped this particular family, and for this act she's been winning a lot of praise as well. Let's now move on and see what's there as far as the Chennai edition of the Times of India this morning is concerned. My colleague Shabir joining us on the broadcast. Shabir, good morning. The state is firm on idol procession ban. High Court meanwhile is sending mixed signals. So there's a lot happening between AIADMK and the BJP as well over this matter.
Well, that's right. There is a war of words that has erupted between the BJP and its ally, the AIADMK, over Vinayak Chaturthi celebrations. The state government is very clear that during the time of a pandemic, they cannot allow, religious processions or pandals to be erected or installed at different parts of Tamil Nadu. And according to Hindu Munnani, they are going to defy the government order. The matter went up to the court. The Madras High Court had asked the Tamil Nadu government to ensure that no, in places, in public places, no Vinayagar idols are installed. And then the Madras High Court refused to intervene in the government's decision. But this time around, the government has decided that there will be no celebrations, public celebrations. They have been asking people to celebrate individually at their homes, but not in public places. And that is something that the government is very clear at this point in time. Despite a delegation of BJP leaders meeting the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister, the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister has decided that this year around, in the backdrop of a pandemic, they cannot allow public celebrations for Vinayak Chaturthi. For that matter, they have not allowed any kind of public celebrations for any other festival too. So the state government, feels that this is the right move, because if pandals are allowed in different places in Tamil Nadu, then a large amount of crowd will gather because the temples are shut, and that will only escalate the pandemic situation. That will only escalate the COVID-19 situation that is slowly coming under control.
Thank you very much, Shabir, for the moment for joining us with all of those details. Let's now move on and see what's there as far as the Kolkata edition of the Times of India this morning is concerned. And here, an important story is that come September, watering holes may be back in business. Apart from this, 40-day infant wins 23-day battle against COVID-19. The cases are rising in West Bengal as well, and stringent measures are being taken by West Bengal government. For example, there was a 2-day lockdown in West Bengal, but unfortunately, unfortunately, a 40-day-old infant. In fact, some positive news has also come, even though the death toll is rising. But fortunately, a 40-day infant has won 23-day battle against COVID-19. Tamal Saha on the broadcast for more on this. Tamal, good morning. Good news on the front page this morning.
Well, definitely a positive news for India to wake up to. A 40-day-old infant has survived COVID, even after having required medical intervention, advanced medical intervention like a ventilator, and also after staying in the pediatric ICU for over 23 days. So yes, it is indeed a positive news. The doctors are claiming that the 40-day-old infant is possibly the youngest in the country to have survived COVID. The family members are saying that the infant was fine for a regular checkup. He was brought to the hospital, the pediatric hospital. But then on the day when he was brought to the hospital, he was running fever. The COVID tests were sent and the samples were sent and test results came positive. And thereafter, doctors, without taking any chance, had admitted the infant for advanced medical treatment. At this point in time, the positive news is the infant is fine, has been released, and the family is happy.
Thank you, Tamal, for the moment, for joining us with all of those details. Let's quickly move on and see what's making headlines as far as Times Global is concerned. Rooted in Indian past, shaping U.S. future, Kamala pays tribute to mother, tears into Trump. Steve Bannon, President Trump's former top advisor, has been arrested for fraud. There is a study that has indicated that children are silent spreaders of COVID-19. Meanwhile, China has defended Wuhan pool party. A pool party attended by thousands of people in Wuhan showed how well China had dealt with the disease. The government insisted on Thursday, despite images from the event prompting outrage around the world. China said that there was nothing wrong there. Let's go across to my colleague Karishma now, who's joining us live to get us the latest from the world of sports. Karishma, good morning. What do you have today for us?
Well, Hina, the hockey high performance director David John has resigned from his post. The reasons that are given is that one, he was being forced to travel to the Delhi office every day and then travel to different parts of the country during the COVID-19 pandemic. So that is why high performance director David John has resigned. But, more importantly, what needs to be noted here is that the hockey players have just started their Olympic training again after a COVID-19 break, and now with the high performance director, it is going to be very, very difficult to hire someone new at this point in time. So the hockey India will really have to work and see how soon can they get a high performance director again, Hina.
Thank you very much, Karishma, for the moment, for joining us with all of those details. Lastly, a very quick look at the Delhi Times edition. And here you can see an interview with Vice President Venkaiah Naidu, who says a game of badminton at the crack of dawn keeps me going. And that's something that you can find out in this particular edition this morning. With this, it's a wrap. Thank you very much for staying with us here on the Newspaper Show.